Hi everybody, welcome back. We've been spending some time now looking at the very first Easter, and today we're going to look at something that is both very sad but a very important part of the Easter story, and it helps us to understand why is it that Christians celebrate Easter every single year. Just before Easter, many churches will give out palm crosses, and they're given out to help people to think about that very first Easter. You remember, it all began with Palm Sunday, with Jesus riding into the city on a donkey, and a huge crowd of people came out and they started to sing and they started to shout, and they tore down palm leaves to make a carpet for the donkey to ride on. They were welcoming Jesus, their king, into the city. But Jesus had come to Jerusalem for a very special reason. You'll also remember that when Jesus was praying in the garden, Judas had gone and betrayed him, and he led the guards to Jesus to come and arrest him in the middle of the night. They came with flaming torches and swords and spears, and they grabbed hold of Jesus and they tied him up. And all the disciples were so frightened that they all ran away. Well, all except for one of them, Peter. You remember, he followed Jesus and the guards back into the city because he wanted to find out what was going on next. They led Jesus into the temple court, and there Peter hid. But you also remember that eventually he came out and people said, "You know who this Jesus is." And he told them not just once, not just twice, but 3 times he didn't know Jesus. Jesus wasn't his friend. And you also remember that he realized he'd let Jesus down, and he too ran away. Well, after Peter had gone, Jesus was led into the temple and he was brought before the priests. And they accused him of many things, and they decided that they wanted Jesus to die. But for that to happen, they needed the Romans' permission. So they then took Jesus to the Roman governor. He was the man who was in charge, and his name was Pilate. Now, Pilate couldn't understand what was going on. As far as he was concerned, Jesus hadn't done anything wrong, certainly didn't deserve to die. But a huge crowd had gathered to see what was going on, and they started to shout out that they wanted Jesus to die on a cross. And eventually, Pilate gave in and agreed. So the next day, what we now call Good Friday, Jesus was led out of the city, and it was there that Jesus died on the cross. Now, ever since then, Christians have been thinking about and remembering this story. Not just to think about Jesus dying on the cross, but to think about why did he die? Christians believe that when Jesus died on the cross, he was coming to show the whole world that he loved them. And Christians also believe that when Jesus died on the cross, what he was doing was taking everybody's punishment so that everybody could know God's love and also know God's forgiveness. That's why, for Christians, Easter is the most important time of the year.
Sometimes very difficult things happen in life. Maybe you know someone who needs some encouragement, help, or cheering up at this time. I would like to invite you to be still for a moment and to think about them. Christians believe that talking to God makes a difference. They call it prayer. In a moment of silence, if you would like to think about someone in this way, then you could use these simple words. Dear God, please encourage and show love to, then name the person's name, at this time.
So, is that the end of our story? Does the Christian festival of Easter end this way, or is there more to be told? Before we start our next assembly, maybe you could take some time to reflect and write your thoughts and ideas down. We'll see you next time.